When I grow up, I will be tall enough to reach the branches that I need to reach to climb the trees you get to climb when
Such a
you're
sweet
grown
little
up.
song.
It's a sweet little song.
Sung by a pretty sweet little girl.
Yes, from the musical Matilda.
Yes, yay.
So, what is our theme today if we're doing Matilda?
Must be little girls.
No, it's what you've asked for. It's Cooking Basics 101.
Yes.
We're going to show you some of the basics to cook so you can create these wonderful things in your own kitchen. Wouldn't that be fun? So we're going to dive right in. Now, every cook, or every person, I think, really needs to know how to make a chocolate cake. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
So I have found this very easy recipe that anybody can do for making chocolate cake.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to start with a stick of butter.
Always start
Stick
with
of
a stick of
butter
butter.
in our mixer, and we're going to add 1 cup of sugar. And I'm going to pour that in, and this is called creaming the butter. Now look at the color of the butter right now. It's kind of a nice yellow. So I'm going to start the mixer, and we're going to let that go and let the butter and the sugar all mix together while we're doing something else over here.
Okay.
We're going to prepare the pan. It's an 8-inch round pan.
Okay.
For the,
It looks greasy in
it's
there.
a little greasy. I've already put a little butter in it, but we wanted to make sure the cake comes out. If the cake doesn't come out, it doesn't really do us any good.
That's true.
Yeah. So I've got a piece of parchment paper that I've cut to the exact size, and that's going to go in. The butter will help that stick to it.
This is like a belts and suspender kind of thing.
It sort of is. It sort
Which
of
is very smart.
Yes. So we've got the parchment paper in there. I'm going to take the butter again and butter the bottom of this.
Okay, belts, suspenders, and extra buttons.
And here's another way that you can do this. You can just take the wrapper, because
Yes.
of the stick of butter, and just do that.
There's always a little extra
Yeah,
down there,
little
and that's
extra.
a good way to use it up.
Yes. And the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure you get the crevices right here, because
Yes.
that's where it will start to stick. So I'm going to put a little more butter there, and then a little on the sides, and make sure you go all the way up.
All the way to the top,
Yes.
everybody.
All the way, and that's just about done.
Ooh. Nothing's going to stick in this pan.
All right.
I assure you.
So we're ready with our pan.
Ooh, that looks
Or
good.
are we ready? I still don't feel confident.
I don't know. I think in addition to belt, suspenders, buttons, there might be a hook and eye.
There is.
We could toss
There
it.
is. There is.
If I'm not mistaken.
All right.
Oh, here it comes.
We're going to put some flour in on top of the butter. So I put that in like this.
If this cake sticks,
Yeah.
somebody's in trouble.
And we just
Yep, get those sides up
get
there.
all the sides. And I'm going to do this over the sink.
Yep, this is
So
great.
you can see what's happening here.
You have
wanna
to
get all
turn
the
it and
sides.
keep tapping it.
And when I finish, there will be flour all over the pan. All right. And then I just let it. And there you have. Your pan is ready to go.
That is perfection.
All right. And look at our butter. It's all creamy.
What's happening over here? Is
Look-
it turning color?
Look at the color of it.
It's much lighter.
It's lighter because we put air into it.
And all that sugar is breaking down.
It is.
Which is great. Just what you want.
So to this, we're going to add 4 eggs. Okay, so I've already put them in the vessel right here. And the reason you do it in here is because if you have an egg that doesn't smell good, that means it's not good. You want to do it in here before it gets in
Right.
there. Okay? So you're going to add these one at a time.
And sometimes if you do it in the bowl, you can get some shells in there.
That's true.
And we don't want that.
All right, so we're going to do it one at a time. So there's one. Let it mix up a
One
little
little
bit.
egg.
We're going to turn it up just a tad.
Now, is there a cake in Matilda?
There is a cake in Matilda.
See how we did that?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a chocolate cake.
A
too.
chocolate cake in Matilda. So we're starting off with
Yes.
that. Oh, here comes another.
Here comes another
yolk.
egg. Yes.
It's kind of fun to watch them fly in
So this
there.
is the yolk and the white of the egg. So
Okay.
it's a whole egg. Large egg. Yes, there is a cake. So we're going to put 4. Here's the third one.
Whoop.
Yes.
I'll do the sound effects today.
One of the children has to eat the entire cake.
Is that a punishment?
It is a punishment.
That doesn't seem like a terrible punishment.
Well, it's a big cake, and they have to eat the whole thing.
It's kind of a veruca salt sort of
It
moment,
is.
maybe. Oh, that looks
All right.
so good, and it smells good.
All right, our next
Sugar.
Yes, the next
Oh.
thing we're going to add is 1.25 cups of Hershey's chocolate sauce.
Aha!
This is the secret ingredient. Now, if you look for cans, they're kind of hard to find cans now. So you go to the ice cream aisle and you get this on the ice cream aisle. So into this, I put 1 tablespoon of vanilla. See, so we have vanilla and chocolate going into this.
Two good
I'm
smells.
going to turn this down because you have your apron on. I do not.
Bugs will take a step back. You get your spatula.
I've got one right here.
Do you?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're so prepared.
Oh,
There you go, Chef.
I had it.
There you go.
It moved around. All right.
Oh, chocolate and vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this a recipe you've made often? Or?
Yes, it's my go-to chocolate cake.
Okay.
The only thing that's different is that I'm not going to frost it the way I would normally frost it. We're going to do a ganache on it, and we'll talk about that in just a second.
Ganache. One of the best words in the English language.
So we're going to turn that up
Turn it
and
up
let
again.
that mix in
Okay.
there.
Woo!
And then we have one more ingredient.
Chocolate.
We're going to put
Oh, some dry stuff.
1 cup of flour in. I'm going to turn it down again because we don't want that.
Don't
And
want it to go
put it in
fry.
very slowly. Don't dump it in.
I'll cover you over here.
Because we don't want any lumps.
Right. Sometimes I take a tablespoon and spoon it in.
Yep.
There's always tricks to get it in slowly so it doesn't
There are
spatter.
little shoots too, but my little shoot I don't like so much, so I don't use the little
No,
shoot.
there's
Okay.
ways around that. Oh, that
There it
looks
is.
great.
We'll let that go for just a second.
Okay, get everything incorporated, as
That's
they
right.
say. Oh, that smells
And that's
fine.
going to come into our pan over here. All right, I'm
A
going to do
well prepared, greased, parchment, greased, floured pan.
We're going to let that go up for just a second. If you do not have a KitchenAid mixer, you can still make this. You can use a hand mixer. I would not suggest doing it by hand because you won't get the consistency that you need.
You,
So I
you
would
really
say,
got to cream that
You gotta
butter
cream
and
that
sugar,
butter,
and
yeah.
that takes a hand mixer or a KitchenAid.
or borrow one from your neighbor. You can do
So
that too.
that's it's even if you don't want to do the KitchenAid, which is expensive, a hand mixer
Yeah.
is well worth it.
Okay. All right. So we have our batter. That's all it is to the batter. Okay.
Easy.
We want to mix it up just a little bit more to make sure all the flour is incorporated. Go all the way down to the bottom. Make sure your spoon is touching the bottom of the bowl because that's sometimes where it doesn't get mixed up properly.
Dig deep. Dig
That's
deep
right.
for the good stuff.
Isn't that a pretty color
It
too?
is. I love
Look.
it's a lighter.
No lumps. We don't want any lumps.
No lumps, no bumps.
Okay. So we're going to pour this into the.
Prepared pan.
That's right.
Smooth,
Mm-hmm.
creamy.
Now don't worry that it's going to go pretty much to the top of the pan because there's no leavening ingredients in it, so it's not going to get any taller.
Just your eggs.
Just my eggs.
This is kind of a taller pan
Yes, it is.
than
And it's an
average.
8-inch pan. You can also use a 9-inch pan, but the 8-inch will make it about the right height.
Okay.
All right. I think that's about all I can get out of there.
It's wonderful.
All right, let's leave it at that. Let's get this little piece off here. Now, you want all the air to get out of this. So see how it's kind of not flat right now? Just drop it on the counter a couple of times, and that flattens it out.
Flattens it out, evens it out, gets some of that air out.
Yeah. So this is going to go into a 325-degree oven
Okay.
for about 45 minutes.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to actually not put it in there. I'm going to switch it out for one that I made earlier.
Magic!
The magic of television.
He's got magic to do. Oh man,
Isn't that beautiful?
that looks good.
See, this is the bottom side of the cake. What I've done is I flipped it over so we've got this, the bottom up, so it'll be very flat.
Parchment's been removed.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
now we have to
important.
work on my favorite part, the frosting. But we're not going to frost it like a normal cake because sometimes putting frosting on is kind of difficult. And we want this to be Basics 101. So we're going to come around here, we're going to make ganache. Now what is ganache? You want to talk about what ganache is?
Ganache is chocolate and butter and sometimes cream.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. You melt it together.
Yes.
Now sometimes people temper their ganache,
Yes.
which means you heat it to a certain temperature, cool it down, and then bring it back up. And the reason you do that for a ganache, especially for an icing like this, is it makes it shiny.
Yes.
And so that's why you temper almost any candy or chocolate you're going to use for a topping or a coating, because that gets you your nice shine.
So this is a double boiler. A double boiler means I have water boiling in the bottom pan, and I have another pan on top to keep this from getting really hot at one time. So I put in a half a cup of heavy cream. It's got to be heavy cream. It can't be milk. It's got to be heavy cream because you want that to set up with the ganache. This is a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Now, if you notice, these are the little tiny morsels.
Little baby
I got
morsels.
the little baby ones because they will.
Because we're talking about Matilda.
No, because they'll melt easier.
They will melt quickly.
Yeah,
More quickly, yes.
All right, so we're going to pour that right into the heavy cream. And see how it's already starting?
Oh, look, it's melting.
Melting already. But we're going to add one more little secret ingredient. And we have to credit Ina Garten for this because she's the one that kind of came up with this idea. We're going to put in one teaspoon of instant coffee granules. Because the coffee, you won't taste the coffee, but it brings out the flavor of the chocolate. And that's her secret that we're stealing today. Now, I didn't want to buy a whole thing, because I'm not a coffee drinker. I didn't want to buy a whole thing of coffee, so I found these little packets. And that is one teaspoon of coffee in there. So you can get these little packets and put those in there. I'm going to get this and get the rest of the coffee off the bag.
Gotta make sure it gets in there.
It's all in there, yeah. So this is just going to melt down. And you can see it's already almost melted. So you want to incorporate the heavy cream into that. And you'll know it's done when it's smooth and the cream is all incorporated. Look at that. See how smooth it's getting in just a short amount of time?
It's getting there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
pretty.
we're just about there.
Chocolate cake and chocolate frosting.
Look how shiny that is.
It's so, and I'm getting a little of that coffee smell.
Now, if it's not as shiny as you would like for it to be, you can take a teaspoon or a tablespoon, probably a teaspoon's enough, of Karo syrup and put it in it. And that would brighten it up a little bit, make it a little bit shiny. But the trick with ganache, the thing that you really love about ganache is it makes that shiny cover on the cake.
And it's really just, I mean, it's just almost pure chocolate. So
Yeah.
you just get that rich, deep flavor from a ganache. You're not adding a lot of sugar or powdered sugar. It's a much more pure way to finish off a cake, I think.
And it's easy. You don't have to have any special tools. Because as you'll see...
Because even if you don't have an actual double boiler, oftentimes one pan will fit inside of another, or you can take
a bowl,
a glass, or something that can take the heat, and put that on top of a saucepan. Always keep it at a low temperature because you really just want it to be warm, and you'll have your own double boiler at home.
If worse comes to worse and you can't do any of those things, if you're truly a beginning cook, you can always heat the cream in the microwave and put the chocolate in. But you want this really, see how smooth that consistency is? Yeah,
just be careful. I would say if you have to do that, if you can adjust the percentage of cooking, do it at 50% or 60%, because sometimes 100 it just zaps that chocolate.
All right, so let me show you the difficult thing about putting ganache on it. This is really hard,
this is
folks. So we're going to zoom in so you can see how you do it. The way we frost this cake is we just take the ganache and we pour it over the cake.
Oh man, look at that. This is a winner.
Yep, winner, winner.
This is a pretty easy recipe, but it is going to look so impressive.
And then we just push it over the sides.
Gonna let it drizzle. Yeah. Oh, I would like to be that little boy. What's his name in the show?
Bogtrotter, Bruce Bogtrotter.
Bogtrotter. I wouldn't mind trying to eat this whole thing.
I'm not sure I want to do 8 shows a week though.
Well, yeah. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Oh, that's beautiful. And it's shiny.
Yeah. Now, you see what I've done here is I put a tray underneath it to catch the extra chocolate. It kind of reminds me of...
somebody's going to have to look that up.
Those
later.
Hostess Ding Dongs.
Oh, yes.
You don't remember?
You could call it a ding dong
I'm going
cake.
to leave it at that. We're gonna taste that in a few minutes. And I'm gonna
Yay!
let it dry for. Oh, I need to push some more on this side, and I couldn't see camera side. There we go. Oh, there we go. See, we have plenty of it.
Plenty of ganache.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And it smells fantastic. Once we get our smell-o-vision.
There we go. All right. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna let that harden over here.
Well
We're gonna
done.
move on to our next thing, which is...
Am I starting my eggs?
No, we're gonna roast a
Not
chicken
yet.
breast first.
Not yet. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, clearly the answer is the chicken.
Yes.
Kevin's gonna do his chicken first.
We're gonna do a chef salad today, and I want to show you how to roast a chicken breast because it's not too terribly difficult. And
These
it's
are all easy
Yeah.
things that can be look very impressive.
Yes.
And taste delicious.
This could be a main course for you. This just a chicken breast
Yes.
and baked potato, which is very easy. The nice thing about social media now is you can go on YouTube and learn how to do any of this stuff, which is really cool.
On our channel.
Yes, that's right. I was waiting for somebody to put that in there.
Our channel, Sing for Your Supper, Kansas City.
Yes. So we have a chicken breast here, and this is not off the bone. When I roast a chicken breast, I like to do it on the bone.
Why, Kevin?
Because we get more of the juice from the meat, which is, we'll marinate it. We leave the skin on. We're not gonna eat the skin, but we're gonna leave the skin on. Take a piece of paper towel, and we wanna wipe it down so it will take the olive oil and the salt and pepper.
Yeah, if you can roast it with the bone,
Yeah.
it increases the flavor
Yeah.
and the juices, and the
Absolutely.
same with the skin.
Yeah. So we take that, we're gonna put just a little bit of olive oil on it. See, this is very difficult. You just take a little olive
Boy.
oil.
Are you writing this
Here we
down?
go.
Oh, you gotta take.
Yeah. It's a new bottle.
This is brand new olive oil.
Yes, just like you. Yours will probably be new too if you haven't cooked for a while.
Whew,
Just a little
there we
bit.
go.
And then I take my hands and just rub it right in on both sides.
Good cooks get their hands dirty.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm gonna let you season that while I wash my hands. Salt and
Okay.
pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Liberally put salt and pepper on there. Lots of it.
You gonna do both sides?
Yes, please. Perfect. And the pepper.
And the pepper.
Perfect. And that's going to be kind of the
Yeah,
feature of our
especially with
salad.
the skin on. You can
Yeah.
be liberal with
Yeah.
your seasoning.
So this will go into the oven 425 for 40 to 45 minutes. So I'm going to switch that out. More magic today.
Oh my goodness.
And this is our roasted chicken
Yum.
breast. Isn't
Oh
that
my
beautiful?
gosh, that looks
So you can see all the seasoning and the skin is crisped up. So I'm going to take the skin off and we're going to cut that up for when we talk about our knife skills in the next part of our program. We'll show you how to cut that up. But I'm going to get this prepared while you take us through another handy thing that everybody needs to know.
something eggs, hard-boiled eggs.
Hard-boiled eggs.
So there's a couple of tricks. You can come on over here. I have my water already boiling. Some people say, oh, put it in the pan and bring it to a boil. But kind of in researching this, I found that, you know, different types of metals and different types of pans reach boiling at different times. So to be consistent, have your water boiling, okay? And then you want your eggs to be, if you can have them out for a few minutes before you put them in, get them up to room temperature, that helps too. We're gonna drop them in. And now, this is the thing. I'm gonna set my timer right now for 12 minutes. Depending on how you like your yolk, that's a personal thing. Most people want, if you want a hard-boiled egg and you want your yolk firm, you're gonna do deviled eggs, or you're gonna serve them on a salad, then 12 minutes is gonna get you a nice firm yolk. If you like more of a runny yolk, you can do 2-minute increments. 6 minute, really up to almost 14 minutes. 6 is gonna be runny. Some people love a runny egg on top of toast, breakfast things. 8 is gonna be pretty set, but still moist. And then once you get up to your 10 and 12 minute, it's gonna be pretty firm and your color's gonna start to turn more of that lighter yellow. So we're gonna go for the 12 minute. And what I might do is take one out a couple minutes early and we'll compare what those yolks look like. but you want to make sure you're boiling, and that's really all you have to worry about. The other thing you want to do once you get them in there is prepare an ice bath. So it's just a bowl with some ice cubes and water, and once my timer has gone off, I'm going to take them out and put them in the ice bath. That's going to instantly stop the cooking process and set your egg at the time you took it out. So have this. If you really like your runny 6-minute yolk, make sure you have your egg bath, because if not, it's going to keep cooking. So have that ready and handy. And now we're going to just let our eggs cook.
All right. Are you ready to come back over here and join me?
Ready.
We're ready to...
Are we going to do knife skills?
We are going to do knife skills.
Then I'm bringing... Oh,
I have...
never made my cutting
No,
board,
you're all
do
set up
I?
here.
Okay.
I'm taking care of
Well,
you
I'm
here.
going to set it aside.
All right. So like I said, we're going to make a chef's salad today because there's a lot of cutting and chopping that has to be done. Tell us about your purple knife and why it looks different than my knife, which looks like a very traditional
some
knife.
people poo-poo the ceramic knives.
I would not poo-poo.
My nephew kind of got me hooked on it. They always stay sharp. I never really have to sharpen this myself. And it's a Cuisinart. It's still got a nice weight to it. I do have the stainless steel at home, but I use these quite a bit. So that's the difference. This is a ceramic knife. They're not as expensive, so if you're starting out and you just want to try it, this might be a good way to start, because a really good chef's knife is going to cost you upwards $100, maybe a little more.
But this is something you want to invest in. You have to have good knives to do any kind of cooking in the kitchen. Good knives that stay sharp, and this is, both of these will do that. I was recently visiting a friend and made dinner for him and was cutting some asparagus, and I said, "Do you have a knife?" And I opened his drawer and he had a little serrated steak knife, and that was the only knife that he had. So I had to like that to get through.
Yeah.
But we fixed that now. We purchased some knives for him.
Because you could get a whole set of these, are even less expensive stainless steel. And it is definitely worth the investment. It's going to save you time.
It's like mixers. You got go right for the KitchenAid because it's the best out there. If you're going to make that kind of investment, don't spend half the price of this and get something that's going to break, you know, in a year or so.
You just can't go wrong with the KitchenAid.
And your knives are what you need.
Way.
All right, so let's talk about holding a knife.
Okay.
We've seen people do. You see people do this with their finger on the front, on the top. That's not right. Let's also talk about the parts of the knife. Do you see this part of the knife is kind of a flat edge, and then we have the sharp edge here. Do you know what the flat edge is for? Do you have a flat edge on yours?
I do.
Okay. Do you know what the flat edge is for?
No.
The flat edge is for moving your food around.
Oh, okay.
You've seen people move food around with a knife before.
Don't use your sharp edge.
Don't use the sharp edge because that will dull your knife. You don't want to dull your knife.
Yes.
All right. So we grab the handle like that, and what I usually do is I usually put two fingers, the thumb and the forefinger, on the blade. Don't put your finger under the blade. Keep that finger away from the blade, but grasp it like that, and you will have a lot better control over it.
And one thing you can do is kind of feel where that balance is with your fingers.
Right.
If I go too far forward or too far back, you want to find that balance and then kind of keep your hand there, because that's going to help guide your knife.
Okay, so there are different techniques for chopping all of these different things that we're going to put on the chef's salad. And what we're going to do is we're going to form little lines that'll be a beautiful presentation.
Our OCD is coming out.
Yes, it is. So, excuse me, I've split the chicken breast that we just pulled out of the oven.
Okay.
Barb has half and I have half. And the way I cut this, I'm going to move these big things out of the way so you can see what's happening.
Salt and pepper.
Okay.
Our eggs are looking good.
All right. So what I do is I just do about a 1/4 inch slice of the chicken breast all the way down, as many as I can get. So I'd probably get about 6 if I had the full breast. And then I've got a couple of auxiliary pieces here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cube this. And when we're chopping, we want all of our sizes to be exactly the same, or as close as they can be to the same size. So then I'm going to take this larger piece and probably cut it just in half. And you're going to have some smaller pieces. Yep. Barb's doing what I'm telling her to do today, which is something new for us.
Yes, chef. And one thing I want to point out is if you've got your right holding position, you want to think of it as a rocking motion with your knife. that initial downward is going to be the main cut. Okay.
Right.
Just like that.
So have you got your, we've got our slices done.
Mhm.
And now I turn them to the side, and then I'm just gonna do the same thing going the other direction. So I want to make the cubes, make them cubes, so don't cut them any bigger than your first cuts were.
Can I talk about our left hand?
Yes, you can.
If you're right-handed. You want to make a claw. You don't want your fingers out like that. Bad things will happen.
Yes.
If you make the claw, your knife blade is going to go against your first knuckles. And you use it as a guide, okay? And if you do that, you're not going to cut off your fingers, and it helps you guide the size that you want. So by doing that, you're protecting your fingers, and you can see I've got similar size cubes.
I mean, my
See what
cube's
I
a little
do?
bigger than she did, but that's okay.
And again, the claw, and it's just guiding up against, and I don't have to worry. And you also want to keep your thumb back here.
Yes.
So, and you just move your hand down and put that blade right up against, and you're set. And those are pretty even dices.
So what I do with my chicken is I make that the center of the meal because it's the protein, of course.
Yes, chef.
And I just do about an inch or two, probably 2 inches of chicken. You probably won't need the whole
Couple
half
of
breast.
inches of chicken.
Yeah, there you go.
Woo, that looks good.
All right.
We'll have some extra. Okay.
All right, we're moving on. We're gonna move on to carrots.
Not my favorite
All right.
vegetable.
All right, so carrots are round. That makes it difficult to chop. So we're gonna julienne these, which means we're gonna make little sticks out of them. So if you're very careful, you wanna cut off just one of the rounded sides. So when it lays flat, it doesn't move around.
Not going anywhere.
Okay. So then we're gonna cut little slices. Slice first. Okay, and then you can turn it again if you need to. And you're gonna make about 1/8 of an inch of these little sticks.
That one didn't
Okay.
go very well. I'm gonna split it.
See what we've done here? So we're only gonna do 1 carrot because we're short of time and lots of things to
Okay.
chop.
I'm gonna take, this is still a little round. I'm gonna put this off to the side.
All right,
But I've got the flat bottom. So now I'm gonna,
perfect.
it's that first cut down.
So then I'm gonna line all of the ends up with my knife like that, and I'm gonna cut to the smallest length, just like that, and we've got our little sticks of carrots. And I'm gonna put those next to the chicken.
Julienne, do you know why is it
Julienne.
Julienne? Do you know?
Julianne Moore came up with this, I think that's how that happened.
Julienne Schnabel. Okay, these are in half. Here's my Julienne.
All right, put those next. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a red onion. Okay, the red onion has a root on it. We're gonna do this pretty quickly. Cut through the root. Don't cut the root off because it will all fall apart. So you cut through the root and see how it all stays together like that? All right, we're gonna put this, we're gonna put half over here because we're not gonna use that. We're gonna take and we're gonna slice toward the root 3 or 4 times to get different layers here. So I put my hand on it just like that to get my fingers out of the way. So we do 1, depending on the size of
Mine's
the onion.
not too thick. I'm
2,
gonna do 2, I think.
I did 3. Okay,
gonna stick with 2.
doing exactly what I told you not to do. Okay, then we're gonna slice down from the top. And then we've got 1 more slice to make. We turn the onion back this way and then we slice across like this
Now
to
we're
make
gonna
our
get
dice.
our dices.
Yeah.
And if you've got that claw again, you're guiding your knife
Mhm.
and you're protecting your hand and you're controlling how big your dice is gonna be.
And they're all about the same size again, which is exactly what we
Look
want.
at
So that's gonna go on the other side
that. Lovely.
of the chef salad.
Okay. Ooh, I love that.
I would clean
So
off my
pretty.
board a little bit better, but we're short of time, as I
It's
said.
all right. This episode might
Yeah.
go a few minutes long, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because we gotta
let's-
look at our eggs.
Let's go to the cucumber.
The cuke.
I've cut this in half. We're gonna cut off the end of it.
Okay.
Now, if you just wanted to be not fancy, you could just dice it up like that, but I like to do it on the bias, which means in a diagonal. Yeah, on the diagonal.
Diagonal cut.
And we're not gonna need very many, and we try to slice it as thin as we possibly can.
minor. Minor. Got my cloth, so I'm being careful.
And that's going to go on the other side of the carrots.
Okay.
Don't need many of those. So the trick there is just cutting it on the bias, which means diagonal. I'm going to leave that off because I don't like how that looks. Okay, look how this is all coming together. All right, let's go to the avocado.
Oh, one of my favorite foods.
The avocado. Okay, so...
I'm going to let you just do that one.
Okay. All right, so we're going to cut around. There's a big pit in the middle of it, and we're cutting around the pit. And then we're going to take it, and we're just going to turn the two halves, just like that. And you see the pit in there? We're going to take our knife, be very careful, we're going to slam it in like that, turn it, and the pit comes out.
Be very careful. The term avocado hand means something to ER doctors.
Yes, and this is where most people get hurt when they're doing their avocado. You take the knife, don't push it all the way through the skin, and just score it like that, both ways, that way, and turn it, and then do it the same way the other way. Put your hand like that.
Guess what? I'm going to pull out my eggs and put them in the ice bath.
Perfect. And then I'm going to take a spoon, and we're going to take out the inside of the avocado. So I just take the spoon and bring it out and see how it's all cubed up and ready to go. Perfect. And we're going to put that next to the red onion. Okay. Whoop.
Pay no attention.
All right. So the avocado is ready. All right. Then we're going to take some red onions. No red onions. These are red tomatoes. Red tomatoes. All right. You cut these in half. Don't cut them long ways like this. Don't cut it like this.
Why would you do that?
Some people do. Like that. We don't want them to look like that. We want to cut them long ways.
Aesthetics, people. Yes. Aesthetics.
So you hold either side like this and cut them long ways like that. So from stem to stern, basically.
Nautical terms.
Yes. You want to talk about the egg?
I'll talk about the egg.
Chopping these up?
This is one I cooked earlier, 12 minutes into the ice bath. Here is my perfect little egg. I'm going to just step over to the sink. Starting from the bottom, usually there's a little air pocket down here, so that's always a good place to start. And you get that membrane in there, but look at that. It's coming off really easy. I think the ice bath helps with that. Look, oh my goodness.
That's beautiful.
This is a gorgeous little egg. Chicken would be proud.
Yes.
But the truth here is going to be, let's cut this open. Oh.
Isn't that beautiful?
There's no green tinge around the yolk.
Perfect.
Perfectly white, cooked. And I'm going to just do mine in quarters. And I'm going to put that on the other side of my cucumbers. Okay. And while Kevin's finishing up that cheese, I'm going to show you how to make a quick vinaigrette. Vinaigrettes are so easy, and people are always like, you made this yourself? Yes.
It's another basic skill that you need to have.
And you can play around with it, but this one is a honey citrus. I had it at a restaurant once, and I just came home and tried to figure out how to create it. So I've started with a 1/4 cup of canola oil, cider vinegar, and I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of that. I make it in a little jar, so and I just shake it up. I'm not going to whip it up and emulsify it. I'm taking the easy route to kind of show you how it's done. So there is our cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of lime juice. That's that citrus part. You could get real limes and squeeze them, but this assures me it's 100% real lime juice. And I'm going to take them at their word. 2 tablespoons of lime juice. 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey. It kind of depends on how sweet you want it. And, you know, you're going to have to taste as you go along and see. But I find kind of 1.5 to 2 is the trick. we go. And I had said it's I put a little cumin in mine. Gives it a little, people go, what is that? You don't have to tell them. Just kind of a half a dash, not much. And for fun, ooh, did I bring it?
What's for fun?
Well, you can put in a little chili powder.
Oh.
Which at the moment.
That's all right. We'll put it on later.
Yeah. So you've got all of that in there, and you're just gonna give it a good shake. And you want to give this extra good shake because of that honey, because it's thick.
And it's ready to pour.
I just want to give it a little taste because if it's not sweet enough, oh, perfect. A little sweet. It's got that little kick from the cumin.
Nice.
It's great.
All right, I'm gonna do one more thing to garnish our salad. These are basil leaves, and I've stacked about 4 of them together. I'm gonna roll them up. This is a big word that maybe you have never used before, but this is gonna make little ribbons of the basil. This is called chiffonade. Okay, so as we cut this up,
That's
and
such a pretty word.
yeah, and it's used as a decorative.
And it's easy.
And then you just kind of
Yeah, they do
unroll
make-
them.
Really, there's not many
It's
other
like
things
streamers.
you use besides basil,
Right.
chiffonade, but
And you can just put that on top. See what a nice little pop that does?
okay. Shall I drizzle?
Yes. Please drizzle.
Okay.
Let me
Drizzle.
move over closer to you.
Okay. Let's move our
There
honey.
you go.
Yes, dear. Yes, honey.
Yes.
Here we go. Oh.
Then I'm going to come around you and get a fork because I have a little treat for you for all your good work today,
okay.
Barb.
Oh, thank you. I'm very excited. Ah, there we go. You can always add more. I never like my salads overdressed.
Is it your maiden name, Bog Trotter?
Yes, it is.
Barb Bog Trotter.
Barbara Bogtrotter.
Well, let's see if our cake turned out as well as
Look at that.
his did.
Oh,
I love the chocolate sauce in it because it makes it so moist. Is that not like the best chocolate cake you've ever had in your life? And it's so easy, folks. Don't be afraid of it.
oh my goodness, that's good. And that ganache,
Mm-hmm.
it's dense, but it's not heavy.
Mm-mm.
That flavor is just terrific. And I don't taste the coffee.
You
I
won't
think
taste
it
the
does
coffee.
just heighten that ganache. And I like that we're having our dessert first.
Of course. And what a great meal.
And yeah, we've talked so much about Matilda. Let me just throw in, it was a big hit on Broadway. Tim Minchin, music and lyrics, who's really a very cool musician and lyricist. If you never listened to Matilda, give it a listen. It's very fun. Won 5 Tony Awards, including a special one they gave to all of the young actresses, which I thought was super cool. Ran for 1,555 performances and lost to Best Musical, not 1776.
Oh, thank goodness.
Kinky Boots.
Kinky Boots, which is a lot of fun.
I love, you know, when you have true competition.
I'm going to
That's a
taste
lot
your
of fun.
dressing on this.
Oh, please do. You want a new fork?
That's so good.
Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try a little chicken with it on there.
So see, this is a very healthy meal. I mean, you just have a small piece of this. You can get about 16 pieces of this cake out because you don't want a big piece.
That's plenty. Yeah.
It's plenty.
Oh,
Yeah,
my.
yeah.
Well, I hope everybody learned a few things. Learn
me
not to be
too.
afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Use your knife. Just buy a potato, buy an onion, buy a carrot. Just
Yeah.
practice.
Practice,
And
absolutely.
the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll feel.
And we want to do a quick shout out to our friends at Theater in the Park. Theater in the Park. Theater is back. Can you believe
Live
it?
theater is
Live
back.
theater.
Please go out and support all the theater that's out there, and especially Theater in the Park.
That's right.
You can make some food, practice your skills, and go out and have a picnic and see a great show.
Take your cake with you.
Take your cake.
You'll have
with
lots
you.
of friends if you do.
Thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.